Welcome to this week's episode of Success in Women. I'm Linda.
And I'm Andrea.
And she's back. So happy to have you back, Andrea. It's been really lonely without you and trying to entertain the audience, not having somebody to kind of like help me out here.
I'm very sorry about that. And I thank you very much for filling in and keeping us afloat.
I'm just glad that you're back and being healthy again. So it's really nice to have you here. Anyway, ladies, today we're going to be talking about how to get ready for the holidays. And as you know, we've got only 1 week left until Christmas. And I know that there's probably a lot of things still to do. One of the things that I was really good this year, which never happens, I'm normally on Christmas Eve still wrapping presents. But this year I decided I was going to go over to my sister's place where she has a really big area in her basement. And we spent the whole evening wrapping presents. So that's at least done in advance of Christmas. So thank God. Thank you, Lord. I actually was able to. But Andrea has a bigger family and usually a bigger gang at Christmas. And she annually goes through a whole routine of how she prepares to get ready so that she's not stressed, so that she can enjoy the day along with the family and friends. So Andrea, why don't you start taking us through what normally happens? And even if for some of the things, because you've mentioned this to me, I know that you had mentioned that a lot of times you've actually started your preparing actually after Christmas last year. And so now we're getting to that point of you had some things already ready, and then take us through sort of that. Oh, but before we start, I forgot, ladies, I know you look forward to Andrea's weekly tip. So Andrea, give us the tip before you get into your meat of the episode today.
Well, thanks, Linda. And I want to say hello, and I'm glad to be back feeling much better. And that's maybe a good tip. Make sure you get your flu shot very early. Or at least get yourself eating properly so you don't
and rest.
have the flu and rest. Yes. Anyway, so yes. So along the lines of last week, Linda's episode about the making the decorations, the buckets of the fresh evergreen. When I was making my pots outside, I had the fresh evergreen and I had lots left over. So what I did was I brought them in and with my garland, as you can see along my staircase, I just shoved the fresh one into the artificial, so you can get the smell of the evergreen. And even in your artificial maybe flower arrangements or your tree, stick whatever you have left over. And the other thing was with your for maybe a hallway decoration or a table, we all of us usually have clear vases sitting around that we use to put fresh flowers in. Well, what I did was take my leftover ornament balls from the tree and just threw them all in the clear vase and then just turned it around so the little hook thing is pointed inward, and it looks so cute. And you could put candles in there, you could put all different styles. So if you're looking for a quick and easy decoration, I suggest that. So anyways, on the topic of getting ready for Christmas, this is big, and a lot of people get overwhelmed and they don't look forward to Christmas because of all of the preparation. But if you're organized, you can, make it less of a headache, let's say. So for me, the first thing I try to do is figure out if I'm hosting. Am I hosting the dinner or am I being invited out? And so that makes all the difference in the world. If you're being invited out, yay, good for you.
That's me, ladies.
Yes,
I get the invitation out.
All you have to do is call the hostess, ask what you could bring, maybe a main dish, maybe an appetizer, a dessert, the wine, the bread, whatever. And then also maybe bring a hostess gift, which could be a poinsettia, something small, or maybe something homemade you made. And that would be great. But if you're hosting, so what you have to do is decide how many people you're having, and your menu. Now you can also make it a potluck. You can assign different dishes to different people, which makes your job a whole lot easier. Or you could have a buffet style. That also helps. Or if you really want to kill yourself, you do it all and you have a sit down service dinner. And that's usually what I do. So that's a decision you should make early on. And then after that, you know, you know what you're having. When you go out to the stores, you can buy ahead, you can buy things that butter, meats that can be shoved in the freezer, and then that's all done, and you do it a little at a time. And then of course, if you're a baker and you do baking, then you also think about that, getting the baking done early and stick it in the freezer and you're done. Now, the next thing, you know, you want to think about is your linens. Maybe you have special pajamas or sweaters, Christmas stuff. Get that stuff out, get it cleaned up, washed up, freshened up, whatever you have to do, and have it hanging in the closet ready to go. I have lots of linen because I love decorating my tables, and I have them. I have a special closet upstairs that I keep it all hanging, and then I bring it down and I stick it in a hall closet on the main floor, so it's easy for me to get at. So, you know, tablecloths for my dining room, my kitchen, and runners and stuff like that for all the other stuff. And then another thing I like to do is set up a wrapping station, like Linda said. Like in my basement, I'll set up a table and I'll have everything there. And as I buy the gifts, I'll throw them there. And as speaking about gifts, I make a list of people I need to buy for. And as I go along day to day in the stores, whatever, I'll look at things, pick up gift cards. So it's not all done at once, so overwhelming financially or mentally.
Do you actually, Andrea, do you actually get your gifts basically all before Christmas? Because I know for me what I do, and it's kind of interesting, I start accumulating gifts throughout the year, especially when I know somebody needs something. And the thing is, then I'll have it in my locker. And I know this year when I was getting everything in my car to bring to my sister's place, I thought, oh yeah, I forgot about this. I forgot about that. And really, I have to make a list because it's easy then to have a lot of gifts for one person and not for somebody else, only because throughout the year I've forgotten, oh yeah, I already got them something. And
Right.
But what do you do normally for your own situation?
That next thing, I always make a list of all the people that I'm going to buy for and potentially gifts. And I do buy during the year, but mainly for my daughters or my husband, because I know if I see something, I know if they'll like it. And there's certain things like collector items that my daughters collect. And, you know, if I see something out and about, like when we were on our drive, you know, out in the country, whatever, you find little things and I'll buy them. But for like my aunts and things like that, that I do more like baskets of wine, oil, pastas, and you know, you do that last minute. But that, and I always carry the list with me. So if I not, because I might be out shopping at the drugstore and see something and I'll look on my list, oh, is that something I want to get? And as I buy it, I tick it off. And the same thing, I try to have the same amount for each person. And especially if you have small children, you know, you want to make sure one's not sitting there unwrapping 10 and the other one only has 4 or 5. And because if you put a dollar value on it, you have to watch that also, you know, because one gift could have been $200 and the other one might have 3 that add up to $200 because their wish list wasn't as expensive. But then you put little socks and stuff so it looks like it's the same amount. So next thing you should do is get your calendar out and mark off any parties you're having coming up, and also your hair appointments, your nail appointments. Get all that out of the way at least 2 weeks before Christmas so that you're not at the last minute say, oh, my hair, my nails, and rushing. Get that all out of.
So so those ladies that are not quite prepared, you'll know this for next year, but for this year, get those appointments booked because you only have a week left. I actually booked my hair and nail appointment well over a month ago to get it done just before Christmas, so that I knew if it filled up over with the salon, I didn't have to work around their schedule. I got to work around mine. So that's a good tip, Andrea, actually, for anybody, is that if you haven't got it done yet, book it.
Book it. And like I have like my appointment this Thursday, and I need it done, but I had to use one of my favorite things, if you remember early on, my root spray, and it works beautifully. So ladies, get yourself a can of that. It always comes in handy. And then my nails, my cousin's daughter, she has a mobile service. So she'll come to I already made that appointment a month ago also. So next week she'll come and do my nails and waxing. Cause we also have to get ready for after Christmas, when we go down to Florida. I don't want to be, looking all ratty getting down there. So anyways, get all that done. And then you feel, okay, now the stress is coming down. You've done the big stuff and you've got your appointments and you're feeling good. So on December 23rd, I start shopping for my fresh stuff, the fresh fruit, the fresh bread, the fresh produce. And the bread I stick in the freezer. As soon as I get home, the morning of Christmas morning, I take it out. It's just like you bought it from the store. It's beautiful. And then that's basically what you do on the 23rd. And you can wash some of it and get it prepared. Like I'll wash all the salad. I put it in a baggie with paper towels to absorb any moisture. And that'll last till Christmas morning for sure, And so that's basically the 23rd, what you have to do. So the morning of the 24th, you start thinking about the turkey, getting stuff out of the freezer, like your cookies or any meats that you're going to prepare. Get them out, get them thawing so that you can start kind of working on that. And you can even make your stuffing ahead of time if that's what you're doing. And I don't know what everybody's doing, but most people do turkeys and hams. And like my hams, I do them the 24th, get them boiled up and ready for the glaze the day of. And don't be worried about space, because this time of year, the garage is cold. So you can have room in your garage.
Depending on where you're living, Andrea.
Depending on where you're living.
We're up in the Great White North, so of course it's cold in Canada.
That's true. But don't also forget about our tip about using your cutting boards in your fridge.
Yes.
To layer food, so that if you
can
have
layer
different things that have to be refrigerated, you can put them in there. Or like I said, if you have a nice cold garage or a sunroom or something that stays cold, you can also put that there. And then, also like say, make sure you have enough ice. The ice is if you have an ice maker, what I do is sometimes I'll bag the ice so that the ice machine can fill up, and then if you have pop or whatever, get that in a cold spot to start getting nice and cold. And then also on the 24th, I get out all my utensils, my platters, my dishes, if they need to be run through the dishwasher or washed up. Now's the time, especially if you have special dishes that you use just for that. Some use paper plates, so make sure you have enough, and that'll save you a lot of work. Another thing, make room in your hall closet for coats if you're hosting people from outside. Like I have my daughters coming, my sister's coming, so they'll all have coats and mitts and whatever. So if you're in the cold country, and make sure you have your hall closet cleaned out so you're not running around when they walk in where to put the coats, Then I also make my cookie trays up and wrap them up, throw them in the garage. Then I start thinking about the next day, my timing for my meats, my casseroles. I make a list. Okay, turkey in at this time, hams this time, whatever, and that's done. And then of course, there are some that go to Christmas Eve Mass. So this will be in the evening, probably. Some go at 3, some go later in the day. So that might be something you're going to be doing Christmas Eve. And then if you don't go to Mass, or if you do go to Mass, when you come home, you get the kiddies ready for bed, put out the cookies, the milk, whatever for Santa. And if you don't have little children, then you can skip that part, unless you like to do it yourself. Then get the stockings all stuffed up and get the gifts under the tree. and hit the sack and get a good night's rest, because it's going to be a long day, Christmas Day. So now, in the morning when you get up, I suggest getting the bird, getting it stuffed, shoving it in the oven. Get that on the go right away. And then by then, I'm sure everybody's up, ready to go to do Christmas, basically. Get the stockings out, get the gifts going. Make sure you have a large garbage bag ready to be stuffed with the garbage, so it's not at the last minute running around trying to find it and get all this garbage off the floor. I always have tons. So, and I always have special cards. I write one card for each daughter, and I like to give them that card at that time also. They also give me one, so it's nice. And then you can have your breakfast. If you prepared a casserole, a lot of people make breakfast casseroles, either out of eggs or French toast, and they'll get that going. Or they
Now,
can,
that's actually, Andrea, that's actually one thing you can probably do up ahead, couldn't you? Because
Yes.
I seem to remember when I go to my younger sister's place now that I'm staying in Canada over Christmas, and she's done that. She's actually made up that casserole, and man, it's sort of a casserole. It's like an egg ring or whatever, but if you can do that either in advance or take a few minutes, but have everything ready to go, what a nice breakfast. So as people are getting up, they can have either their juice or milk or coffee or whatever and get a piece of that, and it can stay warm in the oven. But
yes,
it's such a nice way to kind of enjoy the morning in a more relaxing way without actually thinking about like all this extra work of doing, I'll say, a really big brunch, which I know that could be, but then when you're doing a big dinner, it's a lot of work for mostly the ladies that end up with the bulk of the work.
well, now, if you don't have anybody staying with you, it's just your family in the morning, then it's easier. But this year I have my sisters and my niece and one of the husbands, which I'm so happy about and joyful. So my husband loves to make breakfast, so he'll definitely do the bacon and the eggs and the toast, and that's fine, because while he's doing that, I will get myself ready, and anybody else who needs to get ready for the day. And then if you also, again, if you're a church person for Christmas, you can go to your church and do what you have to do. And then also, once I'm ready and breakfast is over and we've got a little lull time, we'll make phone calls, like to my aunts, to some friends that we're not going to see. Just say, hey, good morning, Merry Christmas. And we do that every year, and it's wonderful. Kind of gets you in the mood, And then after, say, the turkey's done, you put it out, takes a couple hours to rest. So make sure you put that in your calculations, and then you can start getting other things ready. And don't forget, the time goes fast. It really goes fast that day when you're doing all the work. You think, oh, I'll do the potatoes later. No. Get them peeled, put them in a bowl of cold water so that they're ready to go when the time comes. Have your vegetables, your stovetop vegetables done. Say you're doing peas or corn, get them all done, and then they can be mic'd later. And prepare as much as you can, and that way you're not rushing at the last minute, especially like the little stuff like the veggies. And then if set up a little drinking station, like if you have a little table or part of your countertop that you can put out some wine, some pop, some water, a bucket of ice, so that as the people start coming, they can have a drink. If you have appetizers, you can have those out by the drink station, and that gets you ready to prepare.
Because I was thinking, when just before you mentioned the drink station, I was thinking, I know, like when I'm at my sister's, and by the time the afternoon comes and we're starting to, I'll say prepare that part for the dinner, because we don't have a midday lunch. We actually have the dinner at night. And I'm thinking, yeah, she hasn't really mentioned, but I like to have my my glass of wine, you know, just sort of makes me feel like I'm not working so hard, even if I'm sitting there at the counter peeling potatoes and having a glass of wine, or maybe a coffee and a Bailey's or something, just to
Right.
get the day going, you know. But it was just interesting. It was like you read my mind, because then you mentioned a drink station, and I'm like, yeah,
It was
of
coming, it
course.
was coming.
Yeah.
Whenever I have a party, I always have a drink station because I don't want to be running here and there and going in this cupboard and that cupboard and, you know, in the fridge, out of the fridge. Just put it all there, everything you have to
Yeah,
serve.
self-serve.
And I say to everybody, take what you want, you know, and it makes it easier for you.
Yeah.
And then I have my coffee and all that ready to go when people are ready for that. And so then after everybody's arrives, everybody's mingled a little bit. Hey, how are you? How was your Christmas? What did you get? Blah, blah, blah. And you've had some appetizers and everything's ready. Then you can direct everyone to the dining room table. And you can either have arranged seating or sit wherever you like. If it's buffet style, then you tell them that the buffet's ready and they can grab what they want and find a spot to sit. Or we can all sit and then place everything on the table. And then that's it. It's done. Everything's cooked. You've done what you can. Please try to sit down, relax, and enjoy all your efforts.
And I would hope, Andrea, and I don't know how this works in your house, but I would hope that there would be enough, I'll say, other help, so that when the cleanup comes, you're not also running yourself ragged after doing all the work that you've done leading up to Christmas, doing all the Christmas stuff that you do all day long, and then having to go and do the cleanup. Like for me personally, if I'm involved in the cooking, I kind of let somebody else take over the kitchen and clean up, because I think I've done my part and I don't want to do both.
Well,
And maybe you don't have a choice in your house, but
yeah,
for
don't
me
have a
personally, I can't do it all.
but I do have a lot of help. I have to say, my three daughters, and if it's just our family, my three daughters are excellent for that. Not so good in the mornings and early afternoons, but just before dinner they help with placements, whatever. But after dinner, definitely they clean up. They do the
That to me is the most important.
yeah,
I can
yeah,
cook all day long as I know somebody else is going to do the cleanup, because
yeah.
I enjoy the cooking part, I enjoy the serving part, but I really don't enjoy the cleanup, because to me, that's where it becomes work. And now
That's
I do want to relax and I do want to enjoy all of a
you
sudden
want
now just getting to chill down.
yeah, you want to be happy. You don't want the day to
Yeah,
be, oh, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that, and rush here, rush there, and not to enjoy it. Because
right.
in the past, I have had those kind of days in the early days when my mother-in-law lived with me and we had all the aunts and the cousins, and it was hectic. And they wanted dinner on the table, dinner by 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Wow.
So yeah, when you have small children and you've got to do the opening gifts and everything and try and get dinner, that was hectic. But now we do it the way I was brought up, dinner at dinner. And
Yeah.
it makes the day so much more enjoyable. And that's what I want. I want to be happy. I want to be joyful. And I love Christmas and I love hosting and I love having everybody here. So I want to be happy about it and feel blessed. I don't want to feel rushed, stressed, overwhelmed. I don't want to have any of those feelings,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the way you get ready, and try to be to do things prepared ahead of time, make lists and enjoy yourself.
I think that's the way that you can, you know, go through it with a lot less stress. I think the lists really make a difference. If you have lists for everything, you might
Mhm.
think that's overwhelming, but really it's not. Because if, like Andrea said, when you're out and about and you see something, whether it's food or a gift item, it's
Right.
on your list, check it off. And now
And
that part is done.
every time you make a check mark, you feel the stress going down, down,
Yes.
down, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
And that's it, ladies.
Well, you know, if you have the room, and again, I don't really have the room, but if I had to have had a wrapping area, I probably could have bought all the stuff and then brought it upstairs, because in our condo building, we have a couple of rooms, a TV/card room, and we've got the party room. Both of them have big tables and stuff that I could have spread out and actually done it. But the fact that my sister, I didn't even have to buy wrapping or tape or anything. She goes, I've got everything. I have lots of it, because after Christmas, she always stocks up on it. And
Yeah.
so she had so much of it that she said, just come over, just bring the presents. And
Right.
of course,
This
then
time
she was
of
coming. What's that?
This time of year, the dollar store is very handy for wrapping paper, tape, and little things, gift bags. It's great.
Well, and we do a little bit of the gift bags, but we do a lot more wrapping just from the old
Right.
days. That's how we were
It's
raised.
fun.
And even in high school, we took a gift wrapping course, because as I was bringing some stuff from my sister's place over to my younger sister's, where we're going to actually have Christmas, her husband was helping carry the gifts in, and he goes, oh, these are really nicely wrapped, because the corners are all perfect. But
Oh, I
we
know.
couldn't go on to the next stage of wrapping until we did it with, I'll say, it's almost like a brown paper, so it's stiffer. And we had to make the corners and everything on that perfect before we could actually go to actual wrapping paper, because we did the Christmas display in the window at our high
Oh.
school. So it was always a nice Christmas scene, and
No.
and that was done by the marketing people. And
Nice.
and I still remember our teacher's name, Mr. Zarowski. He was the one who was insistent on having perfectly wrapped gifts. So
No.
I still buy stuff that I can put in boxes, so I can use wrapping paper to actually make those corners and stuff. And it's like this little challenge and game.
And you know what? It looks so nice under the tree. I try to use
Yeah.
all different types of paper, ribbon. I still love to do that. And my
Yeah.
bags, I put beautiful tissue. I buy special little dollar store ornaments to hang on my aunt's gift, so that every year they have a different ornament from myself and my
Oh,
family,
that's nice.
and they love it. So, you know, it just looks beautiful, and that's how you make it beautiful and fun.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to cost a lot. It's just one of those things where it's the time that you take to actually put
Yeah.
it together, the presentation.
Yeah.
And so it's not like you're looking that you have to break the bank in buying gifts for absolutely everybody. Little gifts are so meaningful when you just think of somebody, and then to
Yeah.
decorate them with those, like you
Yeah.
said, the little ornaments or something that just makes it special. I mean, it just makes it special for everybody, you in giving it and them in receiving it. So that's it.
Yeah.
I'll say even a great little tip, Andrea, because I
Yeah.
wouldn't have always thought about the extra little ornament things, but I have received things that have had that. And I always thought, what a nice touch.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool. I'm learning something all the time.
I
Never
know.
too old
Well,
to learn.
that's right. And that's the whole idea for us and our show and life, is to always be learning, moving
Always be learning and always be sharing, because that's the other thing. And why Andrea and I do the show is because we always want to share our ideas and our experience with you to help make your life a little easier and a little better, to make it a little bit more successful than maybe what you would have done without us. So
Yeah.
we
Good.
hope that you enjoyed this episode and it helps you to prepare for Christmas.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in signing off this week, we're actually probably going to get, and I'm not going to 100%, but 99.9, we're going to try to actually come up with an extra episode that we put out right after Christmas to help you prepare everything you need to do, so that next year it's going to be even easier for you to enjoy your Christmas holidays or your Hanukkah or whatever it is that you celebrate.
Holiday season.
Any of these tips that we give you can be used for anything that you're going to be planning. And really, it could be even tips that help you plan when you're talking Easter or Thanksgiving or whatever, because there's things that overlap in, how you prepare things. And so we'll try to get out that for you as a special edition, like a part 2 to this one. But we hope you enjoy your Christmas holidays. We wish you happy holidays in whatever it is that you do. And we hope that you like,
share,
subscribe, because we're a long, long way. We're a long, long way from where we have to be. but we're not giving up. We're going to be
That's-
talking about goal setting at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Like we will every year. And well, we hope that we can make a better year for you for 2023. So this is Linda again, Linda signing off. And
And
then,
then, oh,
yeah, glad that you're back, Andrea.
thank
And
you.
ladies, we'll see you very soon. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Bye.